Okay, fellas, as promised, let's now focus our attention on let's do our review of the Ghostrider movie, 2007 film to be exact. Let me get this up. Here we go. Ghostrider. That it all starts off with now. If you guys can read me, I'm using two different live streams. I'm streaming on two different channels as a way to test out the further extension of StreamYard in the near future. It all starts off with a flashback of Carter Slade having visited the abandoned ghost town of San Francisco, getting his hands on a contract to deliver to Mephistopheles in exchange for his freedom. But when he discovered just how much evil was in the contract, he decided to swindle the devil and take off with the contract to keep it hidden from him and other forces of hell. Zooming over to Johnny Blaze and Roxanne Simpson's era, within the 70s, 80s, or 80s, you name it, when they were teens, Johnny was looking out for his father, who at the time was a stuntsman, but when his father was suffering from cancer, Johnny was struggling, not knowing what to do, and that attracted the attention from the demon god and reincarnated of nemesis called Mephistopheles, played by famous late Peter Fonda. Having arrived inside a big tent that was at the carnival, Mephistopheles was offered him offered to cure his offered him a contract to help that he would help cure his father's of his cancer. Clearly, he did, but we all know what happened. But we all know promises cannot be fully 100% kept, especially when it comes to making deals with the devil. Yeah, Ghostrider. Yeah, this is the starting step of Johnny Blaze becoming Ghostrider. Soon as his father felt happy being healthy as a horse, he was getting on the racetrack to his well. Hang on, let me check. Yeah, yeah. As for the Ghostrider, as for the writer, well, you could say that Blaze, well, soon as his father Brent was about to make it through a couple hoops of flame, Mephistopheles appears, and because of his appearance, Brent and Johnny's father ended up losing his balance and ends up crashing right into the flaming hoops and died. Johnny confronts Mephistopheles on the highway, accusing him of his father's murder. Of course, he was no match for Mephistopheles since the contract has been said and done. Yep. That's a shame that we yeah. Mephistopheles Before leaving, Mephistopheles leaves Johnny with a haunting message to forget about friends, family, and loved ones before he took off into the before vanishing off into the night in a stormy night. Blaze had to say goodbye to Roxanne as he took off in the rain. This flash forward to years later, and we come to And we come straight forward to Nicolas Cage, Johnny plays. Having grown up and having become a famous stuntman, the guy himself goes all in. He goes all in, acts like he's trying to kill himself by losing his balance on the ramp. When as soon as he got to the other side, he he spent he crashed his helmet onto the surface of the ramp. Therefore, well, who knows? After that, they were leaving. Yeah. After that, after that, he and his best friend Mac and their pit crew left left Phoenix and took off to Dallas, Texas, for their next stunt show. Yeah, and Johnny was still feeling gloomy and haunted by Mephisto. No doubt about that. Out in the wilderness, out in the open field desert, storm clouds rained in and Blackheart appears. And approach he approaches people that were inside. That were inside this wayward tavern and starts killing people, innocent people inside. And it drew the attention from his account from demons that were blending in with the elements of Earth. One was Gressel, who was that of Earth, of dirt, earth, and everything mineral related. One was Wallow of water, and the third was Abacor of wind. And believe me, I believe Abacor is like the 2007 live action version of the 85 of the Ghostrider comic book villainess Wind Witch, who appeared in one issue from 1985. And I don't know why she hasn't come back, but they really got to look into bringing some of the old characters like that are still alive back into the comic. I mean, Wind Witch was a good. Would have been a. It would have. It wouldn't have hurt to just go with Wind Witch. And I don't get why they didn't do Blackheart exactly like the comics, but I'm gonna wait to rant on that after I get through this. Blackheart wants the contract of San Francisco. Yeah, and this scene ends with him telling Abacor, "Don't say that name." But in the director's cut, the scene ended with him and it bickering with Mephistopheles outside the tavern, which would have made more sense. I mean, how could you shoot? How could you not record? How could you not keep that in the keep them? Why is it that these studios don't even bother to keep the more serious stuff in it? God damn it! Meanwhile, soon as Blaze got the dollars, he runs into his old romantic love interest, Roxanne. He was too nervous to answer her questions, but after but also while struggling to keep his life going, even his best friend Matt feels worried that he is kind of losing it just from reading these books about demons and stuff. Trust me, he's been haunted by everything, by Mephisto, of what he was capable of doing to him back and his father back back then. That I mean, the intimidating flashes of Mephisto revealing his true form. I mean, yeah, I mean, here's Mephisto. Mephistopheles. Yeah, quite a promo, if I do say so myself. Look at Mephisto. Now, I can't. Now, I saved Peter Fonda's portrayal of Mephisto was even way better than that of the comic. But Wes Bentley's portrayal of Blackheart totally piss poor. I mean, no tentacle hair, no area that you had to make him Wes Bentley human himself throughout the movie. Come on, what? Yeah, and pardon me for getting. I'm supposed to keep. I mean, and this the best you got, Sony. I mean, why? Why make him look more? Miss Bentley's portrayal look like himself, and just with him just transform in this. I mean, why? Excuse me. Anyway, soon as Johnny, after successfully jumping over a dozen or so Blackhawks in a large stadium, Johnny takes off to regroup with Roxanne, who was driving off with her fellow cameraman. And meantime, he wanted another chance with her, so and after carefully and bravely reaching out to her, he agreed, but on the condition that he made it to dinner at her hotel at 8 p.m. Central Time. Sorry. Sorry, I caught something. Yeah. Then we enter Mephisto. In the theatrical version, after his running with Blackheart in the Dulles Park in the theatrical version, Mephisto goes to Johnny Blaze, tells him that his time of having him do his work was now, and using his power to compel Johnny into getting onto his old bike. Mephisto, using his powers and with the thrust of his cane, he transforms Johnny into Ghostrider. Yep, Ghostrider, the supernatural flaming skull superhero vigilante. Cool if I say so myself. Yeah. Ghostrider, after completing his transformation to Ghostrider, Blaze is sent over to a rail yard to confront Blackheart and the Hidden. Wow, excuse me, guys. Here we are. Oh, Dave. Hang on. God, this stuff is slow loading. Puffing. Slow. Yeah. Ghostrider confronted, but because of what Blackheart and his legion and his pet gang can do, he was only able to kill one of them, and that would be the tallest among them, known as Gressel. Yeah, Gressel. He took out Gressel, burned him with his flaming chains, and destroyed him. Then he turns his bike. Then, with his supernatural abilities, the writer rebrands his motorcycle into the Hell Cycle. Yeah, this is what he turned his flame insignia motorcycle into before taking off. And it ends with sunrise. and it ends with the sunrise. Be- Before the sun came up, the writer stops at the local cemetery where he meets up with someone who knows who he is, and that would be a caretaker known as Carter Slade, played by Sam Elliott, who, who recently played General Ross in 2003's lame Hulk movie, but returned for an even cooler and better role, which is this. Him as Carter Slade, aka the Phantom Rider, the same Phantom Rider that Mephistopheles got out to get the contract of Stanford Gaza before he double-crossed him and kept it hidden from the devil himself. He he helped to he helped patch up he helped to patch up Johnny of his wounds while explaining to him everything there is to know about being a ghostwriter, as well as Blackheart and his gang. After that, Johnny tried to reconcile with Roxanne, but by telling him who he is and what he can do, only to brush her off into leaving him. Then the cops come in to arrest him over the damage that was done with his Hellblade, with his Hell cycle, and having to believe that he killed all those people in the tavern and that guy in the rail yard, and then threw him into a large cell, into one of the holding cells with over a dozen prisoners that started to beat him up. But he then flashes into becoming a ghost rider and takes their gear, their boots, their gloves, their bracelets to up his gear. Blackheart was in the church when he had and ended up killing. Blackheart was in the church, acting like he was confessing his sins while mocking, while he ended up mocking the priest, and while revealing his true form, he kills him. Next, the writer then he sends Abacor to deal with the writer, who chases him up to the top of the building directly across from the hotel Roxanne was in. There he successfully kills Abacor, lands deep on the ground, but then when he spots Roxanne, he gets emotional, tries to go to her before getting shot multiple rounds by the Phantom Rider. By the cops, Sorry, guys. God, I am autistic and I can't seem to concentrate while I'm minded elsewhere in places. Of course, Blackguard here in the theatrical version, well, Blackheart in the theatrical version was standing with Wall and saying, "Now we know his weakness." Yeah. But in the director's cut, he just smirked, thinking that the writer was weak. And then he and the director's cut go after Carter Slade, the caretaker at his cemetery, demanding the location of the contract of San Francisco. And that's when they thought of using Roxanne as leverage against Johnny. Soon after seeing the Ghostwriter, Roxanne goes back to his place, meets up with Mac, who tells him he's been reading everything there was about demons and stuff. As soon as Roxanne got to take a look at some of the worst aspects of demonology, Blackheart shows up and kills Mac while paralyzing her, and then threatens Johnny to work for him and get him the contract that otherwise he'll kill Roxanne. Then after that, Johnny goes back to the cemetery, and Carter Slade then reveals breaking his shovel open revealing the contract of San Francisco. He reveals his identity to to the Devil's Bounty Hunter as the Phantom Rider. Calling for his horse, he reveals his supernatural form to Johnny before Blaze himself turns into Ghostfire and set out into the wilderness to find San Francisco. As soon as they arrive, Phantom Rider gives Ghost Rider his shotgun, then vanishes into the afterlife. But before going into the city, Johnny comes across Wallow inside the marshlands outside of San Francisco. And as the rider, he uses his unstoppable supernatural heat abilities to vaporize Wallow, ending him. Then getting out of the marsh swamp, he goes into San Francisco to finally confront Blackheart. Blackheart sets Roxanne aside in honest to get the contract from Blaze. But then Blaze turns into Ghost Rider to fight Blackheart in efforts of keeping him from using it, which ended up failing when the Menace himself saw the sunrise and uses it to revert Blaze back to his normal human self. After that, Blackheart starts reading the words on the contract of San Francisco and starts summoning all the evil and spirits over to him, turning him into Legion. But they didn't even bother to do him comic accurate at all. He chases Blaze. He and Blaze start duking the rest of it out in the church. Roxanne comes in with the shotgun to stop him, and then hands it to Johnny, who uses the shadows to energize the gun with his Hellfire flame and vaporizes Blackheart, only for the latter to recover. And then, remembering because there was 1,000 souls he had to burn, it gave Blaze the courage to restrain the demon up against the pillar, against the column, as the Ghost Rider, and uses the penance stare to put an end to him for good. Then Mephistopheles arrives, offering to return Johnny his soul and take back the power of the Ghost Rider. But Blaze decided to just hell with it. I'm just going to use it against you for what you did to my father and keep you from threatening other people again. And that got the devil pissed off into taking off back to hell with his son Blackheart's corpse. In the end, Johnny and Roxanne kiss right underneath the same tree they stopped by to when they were teens. And it ends with Johnny Blaze heading off into the unknown as the Ghost Rider, with Carter Slade narrating the end of the film. Now, this does get points for supernatural Ghost Rider abilities. And now I can finally give you my rant just before I gotta go shower and get ready to see if the GA comes on, so I can make sure Eric Sidefax gets the invite link forwarded to hold my DualShock for my live stream next week as well as Uncle P. Please. Now, I do give Cage credit for doing an excellent job as the Ghost Rider, and even more so in the second film. Besides that, I feel like some of it was underwhelming, some of it was entertaining. I loved how he took on Abigor, and that he did put up some bit of a fight with Blackheart at the end. But I feel like some of the action was just rushed, like they didn't even have enough time for much of a long actual fight. It was time, and speaking of Blackheart, that is my number one biggest complaint about this movie. This is my number one complaint. Look, Blackheart, really? Why isn't he fully blue with red eyes and the tentacles coming down from his head? You call that Blackheart? He doesn't even look like the demon from the comic. What was going on over at the studios that the executives at Sony wouldn't allow, and directors, that they wouldn't even allow that they wouldn't even do him comic accurate. I mean, look at this. I mean, hang on, hold on, let me get this up. This is me and my friend. Huh. Oh yeah. Oh, nearly fitted. Yeah. I mean, look at this. This is Black. This is who Blackheart looks. Look at this on the right. That is Blackheart, and that's how he was done in the comics. I don't get why they didn't do him like that while making sure he wore those clothes on. I mean, sorry, folks. Sorry, I hit the wrong back. I hit backspace on the wrong tab. In the wrong tab. God, I mean, you couldn't even do him. I mean, I mean, Blackheart, the most popular villain of Ghostrider, and you didn't even do him just like how we see him in the comics. What is this? I mean, you think that it was enough just to. I mean, what is this? He was just Wes Bentley in the movie. I mean, Blackheart? Are you kidding? That doesn't even look like him. I mean, sure, he may have these fangs and stuff, and he may have been blue when he fused all those souls with him, but that is not Blackheart. That's just a cheap way of getting through things and out over and done with it. I mean, what in the world were these people working on the film thinking that they couldn't even do him accurately? It's just like, oh, now some of the acting was fine, but but this though, Peter Fonda for one did a much better job. At least Peter Fonda's portrayal in Mephisto was better. He may not be red skinned like he was in the comics, but at least he at least he wasn't the one that fight, and he knew how to put up a good scare with the writer. And they were close. They were close. I mean, this is how Mephisto was portrayed here in the first film and in the second film by Kieran Hines. So no need to complain about that. I mean, I don't get what was going on over at those studios that they couldn't even do Blackheart comic accurately. They effed him up. They really dropped the ball on his portrayal. Ah. However, however, I will give Nick Cage and Eva Mendes plenty of credit for their roles as Johnny Blaze and Roxanne Simpson. At least they did a good job. Gotta hand it to them. Yeah, you definitely gotta hand it to these two. They may not have been married like they were in the comics, but at least their role as in romantic lovers holds out well. It truly does, guys. And I am sorry for my friend, but honestly, Wes Bentley To me, I'm gonna have to give this movie a six out of 10 stars. I'm sorry, but there are some things about the movie that were controversial, including the fact that they were a bit too comical with stuff. So much ego coming from the bad guys in this thing. I mean, they could have done it. I mean, why? I mean, let me look at Rotten Tomatoes. Let me put it up. Hang on. Let me get this. Let me get this. Let me get this up. See, sure, the critic score here maybe 28%. But look at this. I mean, look at it. 48%. I mean, if you had done Blackheart exactly as shown in the comics with him being a blue demon with scale, the tentacles coming out of his head, you could have had it at least at 61% on the audience score, and maybe even an extra 7% on the critic score. But you guys at the studios back then effed them up. You effed it up. I mean, yeah. Ghostwriter is a sour mix of more morose gloom historic bricks amidst jokey puns and hammy dialogue. Now, I'm not gonna harshly criticize the film. I think it's still a good one. I just wish these people there would have done a better job on how they portray the villains who are being depicted as demons and not make them look like humans. I mean, you could have Tony could have done a better job. Or maybe you should have just gone with, well, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Maybe if they had used Scarecrow, Blackout, or one of the writer's popular enemies from the 90s, or even Weather Witch, they could have saved this film. Maybe it would have helped. I think it was really seeing how Blackheart was used in this movie and how he was portrayed. I believe it was way too early for him to be used. That they had to. If this was all about money, they should have just waited and gone with the villains like Scarecrow, Blackout, or even Snowblind, or even Aqueduct. But the deal, but it's already been done. It's already been done, folks. Ghost Riders in the skies. Well, but I also gotta give credit to another actor, along with Peter Fonda, for their roles in the film, while giving credit to to Eva Mendes and Nicolas Cage. We should also shout out to Sam Elliott. Oh, oh, oh dear. Hang on. We should shout out to Sam Elliott for his role as Carter Slade. What are you talking about? Ah, I see you made some changes to your name. Huh, is this an extra account? Oh, this is my review, Spy. It's my review. It is my review of the movie. Well, yeah, this was from 18 years ago. You're funny. But hey, check this. Yeah, how cool do you think this is? Oh, and by the way, What could have also helped if they had, if they had more demons added to the mix and had Carter Slade stay alive and maybe do make the villains that were accompanying Blackheart look more demon-like and not so human-like. That could have even that could, that also could have helped save the movie from being a disappointment. I mean, my God. Yeah, that's true. Still all right. I agree. I mean, my main issue is how, but here's the main issue. Let me just get out of this. Let me show you what the main issue is. And my biggest complaint. You're looking right at it, Spy. This is the main. This is what went wrong with. This is what my main issue with the movie is. How they did. It's how they portrayed Blackheart. Now it was okay. Some of the acting was fine. Just that I just didn't like how they had to water down and alter the character's live action movie interpretation. I mean, yeah, I know demons are scary and inappropriate in some things, but they could have just done them like this. I mean, if you've seen End of Days, you all saw Schwarzenegger taking on Satan. And if you had watched a movie with Tim Curry as a demon called Darkness, he was a demon in it too. Heck, even Lucifer from the television show on CW or on Fox, played by the British actor, he was a demon as well. He showed his demon form as well. I mean, my gosh. I mean, it kind of sucks for things to get watered down so easily. Not be 100% exactly alike. Huh. Well, I better head out. Better head to the shower now. But hey, take care, Spot guys. Be sure to like and share this stream. Sergeant Garatina out.